Red Sox fans have longed to hear it. The Boston Red Sox are world champions. Game over, series over, and the Red Sox are world champs again. And so are these fans. It hasn't happened at Fenway Park for 95 years. The Red Sox are world champions.
Boston organization has been well run for a long time now. From the top on down, here comes a 1-2 pitch. Red Sox win the World Series. 5-1 the final tonight. And the best team in baseball wins it all in 2018.
The Red Sox have won the World Championship. The Boston Red Sox beat the Los Angeles Dodgers 5-1. They win the World Series 4-1. And the Red Sox become the first team in the 21st century with 4 World Championships. Can you believe it?
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Pesky Podcast. We are here with episode 5. I am your host, the Ritt. We also have DC. We have first off, I want to sit there and congratulate and thank Anthony on the Cape for actually giving us the opportunity to let him be a part of the Pesky Podcast.
Oh, come on. I'm happy to be here.
And also, I want to sit there and be the first to congratulate you on the Twitter all-time Red Sox fantasy baseball Twitter win.
Oh, I got the win?
You got the win. I came in second, and Nick, well, he came in a close third. So
everybody had a great team, though.
Oh, everybody had a great team, and we have a fantastic guest tonight. She is very well known in the Twitter world, in the Red Sox world. Sox Addict, how you going?
I'm doing good. How about y'all?
Not bad.
Y'all. I'm from Texas, so I say y'all.
So Sox Addict, before we get started, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself so everybody knows?
I pretty much lived in Texas my whole life. Dated a guy when I was a teenager that was a Red Sox fan, and it stuck. And I've turned many people into Red Sox fans, so it's contagious. I have mostly grown kids now. I'm 44. So my youngest is 17. So, but I have 6 kids. So that's pretty interesting, I think. So, yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, for now.
No, we're excited to have you on. Thanks for coming on.
But warning, I've been off my ADD meds for like a week, so I could go on rabbit trails and chasing squirrels. So warning.
No, that's okay because I'm going to need that. I'm a little sleepy tonight, so I might need somebody to
yeah, I'm pretty hyper.
like, transport and carry me on their back.
So, well, let's get it started. Let's talk about a little bit earlier this week. Everybody was dying to sit there and find out Chris Sale's performance from his game. Everybody was waiting for the longest time to see what version of Chris Sale we were going to see. And, well, he pitched one hell of a game. He had all 3 pitches going, fastball, slider, changeup. And, well, let's just go around the horn. DC, what did you think of Chris Sale's performance, his first pitch since the injury?
I was pretty stoked to see how it went. I mean, how often do you see Chris Sale coming off the field, middle of an inning with a smile on his face?
Yeah.
I think he had like 11 starts in the last 3 years, so it's awesome to see the command. It's awesome to see the velocity that's there. I'm high on him this year. I mean, I'm obviously biased. He's one of my favorite players he's been since he's come in the league. But I'm stoked to see, what he's going to do for us this year.
Yeah, so It was really exciting. Melissa, what about you? What did you sit there and think?
That's what I was going to say is about his smile. Like to see him smile, I was like, okay. And also to not to walk off with his finger all messed up. And he didn't even have to have bubble wrap on him. He made it through it. So I was pleased. Definitely nervous going into it, but
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anthony, what about you then?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was great to see him out there. I thought the thing that I liked the most was just his 3-pitch mix. You know what I mean? I saw a good fastball. I mean, we know his arm's healthy, right? He's coming off 3 years. It's been 3 years now since the Tommy John. So his arm's healthy. I think he has a little motivation to, prove some people wrong. I think this whole team does, but I think in particular, Chris Sale, he's, hasn't contributed anything the last 3 years, and he's been our number one, highest paid player. And I thought he had a great fastball. His changeup looked good, and of course, he's got a great slider. So I mean, I was very encouraged.
Yeah, and I was just happy to see Chris Sale again. Like you guys both mentioned about him sitting there coming off the field with a smile on his face. Like we haven't seen that for quite some time from Chris Sale, and we sit there, we heard him say the fans deserve the money's worth. And Chris Sale is going to give you that money's worth when he's healthy. I think he's going to be really healthy this year. I think he's going to sit there and give it 100%. And we're going to see a great, not 2018 Sale, but we're going to get at least a good 80% Chris Sale from 2018. Yeah. So the only bad part about Chris Sale's performance was, it kind of got overshadowed from Justin Turner's injury. Like, man, that was some scary stuff. Like, I didn't get to see it. Anthony and I got to talk a little bit about it the other night. I was at work, and then we were on lunch, and I was listening to it, and it was just wow. It was scary. Seeing the video made it even 10 times worse. Just the amount of blood. But the good part is, he took 16 stitches. It wasn't as bad as we thought it was. It was just it looked really, really bad. Let's start with you. What are your thoughts on Justin Turner's injury?
I was actually watching, and when I saw the blood just pouring out, I was like, oh no. Like, I just where it hit, I thought, is it going to affect his vision? Is, how long is he going to be out? Is he going to be okay? Is he, because that was a lot of blood. And I did not watch a replay of it for sure, because I saw enough. Yeah, it was very scary. And just, I'm excited about him being on the team, excited to see what he's going to do. I feel like he can take a big leadership role. So I was like, oh no, this is not good. But thankfully it wasn't as bad as it looked.
Yeah. Anthony, let's go to you.
Yeah, no, I don't know if you guys remember when Pilar, the guy we used to have a couple years ago, he got hit a couple years ago, and it was pretty brutal looking, but he came back, and it was like, I remember just thinking like, wow, that's like, that was impressive that he came back. I mean, because one part is the injury. Seems like we dodged a bullet. The other part is him getting back in that batter's box. You know what I mean? So that's the thing you gotta like hope for, that we're obviously everybody's breathing a big sigh of relief that he's okay. And but now he's got to get back in that box and deliver. So that's going to be, and I think he's the kind of guy that can do that. And I think what's going to happen is if he's back in there by opening day, which I don't know, we'll see. I don't know. But I think that could be a huge rallying cry for this team. So I'm just happy he's doing good, and we need him big time. Definitely. His leadership and his bat.
Yeah, if you think the physical part, anybody can come back through. He's got stitches, but it's the mental aspect. Like he's got to be able to mentally get back in there, be able to get in that batter's box, and be okay with that. AC put a lot of emphasis on Turner's following Devers, you know. So Anthony and I were talking, and it's kind of like, okay, we're going to protect Devers by, you know, you can't not pitch to Turner, you know, and vice versa. So if
the key thing is that Turner's got reverse splits, right? So he actually in his career, he's first of all, so versus righties and lefties, he's over 800, both against anybody. But against righties, he's actually like 830 something. So he's actually a little bit better against righties. So that means you can put him comfortably behind Devers and expect that to get that protection. I really believe that.
Yeah, exactly. DC, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, that was tough to watch, man. I didn't see it live, but I made the mistake of actually watching the video on Twitter. And just seeing the blood come out was really tough to see. I feel like their spring training complex is kind of bad luck with that. I think Brazier took a comeback a couple years ago, I think, in spring training as well. So they can kind of relate. Hopefully you can maybe give him some advice. I know he's a pitcher, so it's a little different. He's not stepping into a batter's box. But I think with Turner being the guy he is, like Anthony said, and being a vet, I think he'll overcome this. And I think, it's a perfect point to make up. It's going to be a rallying cry. And that's something we need definitely with this year, with, you know, the expectations that we're going in with. I think, and he has probably about 2 weeks until he gets his stitches out, I read. So we'll see if he has time to come in. And that kind of goes into being a vet as well. I think he has the experience. So I don't think it'll take too much to get ramped back up. It's just the mental aspect as far as that.
Yeah. So I kind of want to see your thoughts. Okay, say Justin Turner's not ready for opening day. So who is AC going to put to follow Rafael Devers? Melissa, who are your thoughts on that?
I would say, he wants Yoshida in the middle of the order, so I guess maybe him. But because you don't have too many.
Yeah,
we don't really.
I really just
as much as we should.
I just really want him following Devers. You know, I can't think of any. Like, I don't know who AC, because sometimes he surprises me with who he. You know, like at first I was heard who was going to lead off and I was like, okay, that's not what I would have done, but I like, usually once a decision's made, I like what AC comes up with. So, but probably Yoshida.
Well, here's the problem though with Yoshida. He's already said that he does not want to bat those guys back to back, right?
Oh.
So basically, I was talking about it with Tony Maz last night. Basically, Yoshida and Devers are 2-4 in whatever order you want to go. You could flip it and put Yoshida 2 and Devers 4, but he doesn't want to lead off Yoshida. And Devers is really adamant. He likes hitting second, and he wants to separate those two guys. So to me, I don't see him going, putting Devers 2 and Yoshida 3. I just don't see that happening. Unfortunately, it's a real problem because I've been kind of looking at the lineups thinking like the same thing, right? It's basically the candidates would be, unfortunately, Adam Duvall, which I do not like at all because he's just not as good enough of a contact hitter. He's just not a 3 hitter. He's more of a 5, 6, 7 hitter. I would not be surprised if it's Kike, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Kike or Arroyo or Kike, one of those two guys, if it has to be somebody other than Turner.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah. The way Arroyo is playing so far in spring training, I could sit there and easily see him sliding in. Arroyo, he's batting 267 with 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. So he's only struck out 4 times in 15 plate appearances. Kike, on the other hand, he is batting a horrendous 0.77. So
small sample size.
Yeah, I mean, we can't necessarily go by spring training statistics, but the thing is, Arroyo is a good hitter. He's got some pop. We saw him; he had 2 home runs in that game. And he can hit. And it's got to be somebody. I mean, it has to be. Pick somebody. It's Duvall, Kike, Arroyo. Who else could it possibly be? If they're adamant about not putting Yoshida and Devers back to back, it has to be one of those 3 guys.
Yeah,
and Arroyo's come up big for us in the past too when he's been healthy. As long as he stays healthy, man, he can. He comes up in the clutch areas and he makes contact, which Duvall obviously does not. Yeah, he hits 220. He'll hit you 30 home runs, but he's going to strike out at a clip.
Yeah, I was even watching Duvall last night. I mean, his swing is just a little long. It's just kind of like a Hunter Renfroe. I'm sure there's going to be times when he gets into one and we say, "Oh my God," and he launches one over the monster, and we're like, "Oh yeah," but is he going to be consistently in that 3-hole? Is he that type of hitter? No, I don't think so. So I think we have to pray that Justin Turner is ready to come back. I think it would really, the whole team would sort of rally around him like, Jesus, this guy's back. I mean, he just took a fastball to the eye. Like, let's go,
And maybe that is what this team needs this season. Every great season, every championship team we've had, there has been something we rally around. The Boston bombings. We went and rallied for the whole city of Boston, and we won the whole thing. So, man, in 2018, I was one of those guys. After AC was there, we lost the first game. I was one of the ones that like, yep, AC, get him out of here. He doesn't know how. and then we go historic the whole rest of the season. So I always put my faith in AC right now because I can never doubt that man ever again. So, but man, let's just hope that Justin Turner's back. He's he's able to sit there and play because we are very slim options for that 3 spot. And man, it's just time will tell. We got a couple more weeks to go. But next up we have Tanner Houck. He sat there and he had his first appearance of spring training this past week. He looked great, but he had a little problem with the pitch clock and time management. So, Anthony, you want to start us off on this one?
Yeah, I mean, Tanner Houck's probably my favorite player on the team. He's been my favorite player on the team for a few different reasons. One, I just love pitching. I always pitched growing up, and I love pitching. So I'm always kind of, whether it's Pedro, Clemens when I was a kid, I love Josh Beckett in 07, I love pitching. And to me, I look at Tanner Houck and I like the makeup. I think he's got balls. I mean, Eckersley called him, cool hand Luke, he used to call him. He's just got a certain level of confidence on the mound and ice water in his veins. And on top of that, he's got a 3-pitch mix, just like we talked about with Chris Sale. Tanner Houck's got a good mid-90s fastball. He's got a wipeout slider, and he's got a good split that he's working on. In terms of, and I want him in the starting rotation, by the way. I've been adamant about this all off season. And last year. And I
was about to ask that, what you thought about that.
Well, yeah. And let's face it, last year, the flip-flopping of Whitlock and Houck, when they did it, and the way they managed those 2 guys last year was one of the things that sabotaged our season, right? Both guys ended up getting hurt, and a lot of other guys, the whole pitching staff fell apart. So I love Tanner Houck. I love watching him pitch. I thought he looked good. The time thing, I think everybody's getting used to it. Everybody's adjusting to this. And I think that's why this spring is so critical, and it's impressive what the Red Sox I'm impressed with the Red Sox, what they're doing. And winning is contagious. So I'm not too big on like statistics and even the record in spring training, but I like the fact that they're playing pretty good baseball. Everybody's learning the new rules. And I think, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a work in progress. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of box this year. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of little situations here and there when maybe certain umpires kind of are a little bit more strict with the rules, and there could be some situations. We'll have to see. But everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's dealing with the same rules. So I'm confident Tanner Houck's going to figure it out, and I don't think it's going to be an issue.
Yeah, well, one of my things I love about you, Anthony, anytime you and DC, you're going to sit there and catch on. Anytime Anthony talks about Josh Beckett, he puts the year 07 behind it all the time.
Oh yeah, man, that was a great goddamn year.
He sit there. He has a long career, but it's only Josh Beckett 07.
Yeah, I can't have that Josh Beckett of 09. Really,
No.
I really caught on really quick of that.
I like it. I'm a big fan of 07 Beckett.
We have a shirt, that is dedicated to 07 Josh Beckett that we sell. So just saying.
I mean,
and we also have an incredible Houck shirt, the Incredible Hulk, and it looks like
I'm gonna cop one of those, by the way, because when I tweeted something out like that, and then you tweeted back at me. You were like, oh, like check out this shirt, yeah.
Oh, you said okay. Well, I didn't come up with that.
Right.
Red did, but
okay, maybe it was Red that tweeted.
It was Red that I might have tweeted back, but Red is the one who made it, and I was like, oh, genius. So yeah, maybe you should get a free shirt. Maybe you should,
No, I'll buy one.
No, I'm gonna hit up that store after the show.
I can't wait till we actually dive into the store towards the end of the show, because I was on there and that store is amazing.
Thank you.
So we're gonna give you plenty of time to plug that.
Oh yeah, sure.
So Melissa, well, what are your thoughts on Tanner Houck, the time management, and his performance?
I think, like Anthony said, he'll adjust. I think everybody's having that issue with that. I can't imagine just how you've been doing it and able to prepare. I'm a mental person who has to mentally prepare for anything I do, and I have little routines for whatever. And so, if his brain is anything like mine, then it'll just take a little adjusting. So, but I think he's got it.
DC?
Yeah, it's kind of piggyback what they said. I think it's a non-issue in my opinion. We're seeing it across the league. It's not just with him. The only thing that would scare me is just, him trying to rush and it affects his command, but that's probably a reach. I'm a big fan of him. I think it's a non-issue. It'll be fine. If Kenley Jansen can master it with his slow ass delivery, I think Tanner Houck will be just fine.
We were talking about Kenley, and he was very surprisingly no issues at all. He felt comfortable. He was throwing strikes. So if Kenley can do it, anybody can across the league.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not worried at all.
Mm-hmm. Quick little sidebar. Speaking of going down rabbit holes, what are your guys' thoughts on Max Scherzer and his him trying to get the upper hand on the batter during all of this?
It's Mad Max's world, and we're all living in it. I'm a big fan of it, man. I mean, I'm probably saying that because he's on my fantasy team. I just drafted him in my keeper league that I just joined. But yeah, I mean, I think it kind of. Just in my opinion, I think the pitch clock is actually going to, once they get adjusted, it's going to be in the favor of the pitchers because they can play mind games like that. But it also could go for the hitters. When you're on base, you can time it up to steal a base or something like that. But Mad Max is a madman, and I'm all for it.
So, Anthony?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw it today, but Nick Pivetta tried to do something. So basically, Judge was at the plate, and he used one of his timeouts. This was like a long at bat. And so what happens is there's a separate clock when a guy takes a timeout. And so what Pivetta did, so he basically, Judge had to be in the box for like an extended period of time and be ready for the pitch. And Pivetta just held onto the ball to the last second. And he ended up walking him, and it worked against him. And so I don't like it. I didn't like what Scherzer did because I kind of feel like we saw this a little bit with Rich Hill last year and some of the guys last year. Listen, we want these rule changes. We need these rule changes. We need the players to kind of get behind it just because they didn't necessarily get to negotiate it at the last CBA, where they weren't necessarily in the room and this and that. They didn't get their voice heard. The bottom line is baseball needs these rule changes, and it's going to increase the attention span that's paid to the game. I was talking about this last night. It's not so much going to attract new people as much as it's going to force you to pay attention. There's not going to be as much downtime. You're not going to be sitting there fitzing around I'm watching a Bruins game. I'm watching a Bruins game and it's a commercial. Hockey goes fast. I flip over to the Red Sox. Early in the season, whatever. I'm lucky if I get one pitch in. I'm literally lucky if I get one pitch in. It's like, dude, can I see a little bit more action here? So the players need to stop being the gatekeepers for the history of baseball and just accept and embrace these rule changes, realize that it's best for everybody and best for the game. And let's just go with it. You know what I mean? And there's probably more coming as well in the future. So I'm all for the rule changes.
Yeah. Melissa, what about you? I
get both points. I think that if it was a Red Sox that had done it, then I'd probably be like, oh yeah, it's totally great. So yeah, I I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about it.
I do love Mad Max though. I mean, he's a stud. I mean, it's nothing personal against him. I don't want players sort of rebelling on the field against the new rule changes. I want everybody to embrace it and just, be positive,
Yeah, I know during today's game, and we're going to talk a little bit about that coming up. I know Pavetta threw over, twice, and the rule is you can throw over twice, but the third time, if you don't get him at first, it's a balk. And I think it's advantage sometimes of the runner because he threw over twice and then he took off for second. And technically, if he wants to go back to first and he's safe, he automatically gets second anyways because he didn't get out. And they were talking about that rule change, the rule change, how it could benefit the runner a lot more. And the pitcher has to be more selective now because he only can step off the mound once, and also. So I think spring training is just, of course, we're undefeated. But I think it's across the league, everybody's just trying to figure out how to be comfortable with the new rule changes because it's not only just the pitchers, not only just the batters, it's the umpires and the guys working the scoreboard because, they got to sit there and reset the timer and make sure that everything's functioning so we can continue to have these, quicker games and everything. So I just wanted to see what you guys thought about Max Scherzer because I was just like, man, he's just pumping them out. What was it? Was it last week? Was it the batter from the Pirates was struck out in like 20 seconds or something like that? That was just crazy.
Yeah, that's unheard of.
And quick pitching has always been available, right? So there's never been a rule against quick pitching. And I'm actually excited but when you're trying to manipulate the system with the whole, the batter needs to be in the box and everything like that. So it's just more, let's just do what's best for baseball. But quick pitching and just sort of the old school, like throw the ball, a little bit more contact game, less gear up for these high fastballs and swinging out of your ass, going for home runs every time. Hopefully we're going to get a little bit, more variety in our baseball this year, more triples, more stolen bases, more defense. You know what I mean? Just get back to baseball, not just analytics,
Yeah, exactly. Boston, the Red Sox got to play, which was really weird. But then going through other teams, I seen that they also had exhibition games against WBC teams. Boston played Puerto Rico the other night. And the one thing that really caught my eye was how much people were down on Kike when he came out of the Red Sox dugout, and he played for Puerto Rico. I didn't get it. He plays on the Sox. Yeah. All of his stuff's over there. Like, he got ready in his locker room. Like, why would he get ready in the opposing team's locker room when all of his stuff's over there?
So who didn't like it?
That's what I haven't heard anybody not liking it.
That was on Twitter. A couple of people were like, they were just trolling a little
bit.
Red
Sox fans though, like Red Sox fans.
Oh no, not that.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Oh, okay. It's still that's silly.
Screw them.
Yeah,
it's so silly.
But overall, it was kind of exciting thing to watch. Where we got to see the Red Sox go up against some of the best in Puerto Rico. What were you guys' thoughts on the game? The WBC all together. Melissa, we'll start off with you.
Okay. I didn't get to watch it, but I did listen to it. I was actually impressed that we were missing key players and still did well. So that was exciting. I've never actually watched WBC games before. So, and I didn't have it here. It wasn't on MLB TV, so I couldn't watch it, but I did listen to it. So,
okay. Anthony, what about you?
Yeah, I thought it was, I don't remember the last time they did this, whether or not, what do they do it every 5 years? I think something like that. But I don't remember them exhibition games necessarily the last time they did it, but I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was funny that everybody on Twitter was like, "Oh, here comes the Red Sox first loss," just because everybody thinks,
yeah, a lot of people thought that.
right? Because people don't understand baseball. The fact that it doesn't matter. I don't care who's on the other team. I'm on the mound and I'm shutting you down. That's what baseball is all about. It's pitching and defense. So the bottom line is we had Brandon Walter on the mound, correct? He looked great.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked really good. And yeah, he didn't make it that far at spring training, but he looked good for 2 innings plus. And I was excited about that. So just seeing a guy like Brandon Walter, who hasn't pitched since last June, because he had a back, I think he had a back injury that kept him out the second half of last year. Seeing him go up against legit guys, like, they had Melendez, they had, Kike, they had a legit lineup over there. Seeing him go through that lineup, I thought it was pretty impressive. And just seeing the Red Sox smash Puerto Rico like they've smashed everybody else, I thought it was great. I really enjoyed
Definitely.
that.
Man, I sit there and loved, because Walter he's right up there with Mata and Winkowski. Could they sit there and make, the opening day roster? And like you said, he was out most of last year, and to see him come back and look as great as he did in the 2 innings that he pitched against a first-class Puerto Rico team, that was very impressive. So, DC. So what are your thoughts on the WBC, and who would name a lineup you wouldn't want the Red Sox to have to face right now?
I'll start off with that. The Dominican Republic, that lineup is stacked from top to bottom. That scares the shit out of me, to be honest with you. As far as the game, it was cool to see them go against, like you guys have said, like the top guys from Puerto Rico and get a win. Brandon Walter showed a bunch of good stuff. It was also funny. I was reading about Kike giving Alex Cora some shit because back when he was a GM for Puerto Rico, he wouldn't play him every day. And now he's going to be playing every day. He slotted in as a number 2 hitter. So that was cool to see, just have some gamesmanship as far as that. But as far as the WBC in general, I've watched it since it's come out. I think 2006 might have been the first year. I could be wrong in those years, but I remember I faked sick my junior year or sophomore year for like a week straight so I could watch it. I don't know how I pulled it off, but it's great for the game. It's cool to see the countries go against each other. And it's just like the camaraderie you see on a team, throughout the tournament. It's awesome. And just a big fan.
Well, DC, by you sitting there saying that story, Anthony fits right in, because I found out Anthony likes to play a little hooky on opening day every year,
Yeah, when I was a kid, every year, probably not, what I'm talking about, once I got to like maybe 5th grade, something like that. Yeah, I would just skip school every year on opening day and just come home and just by myself watch the Red Sox, because I was skipping school. Nobody was home and nobody was with me, so I wasn't conspiring with we didn't have like a group together. I just did it on my own. I was just like, I want to watch opening day and I'm doing it, and nobody's stopping me. So you kind of little take off from the bus stop, and just that's it. For like 92, one of the worst seasons ever. I mean, we had Phil Plantier, who was supposed to be really good. Move on. They had like home runs on opening day against Baltimore. It was like, I thought we were going to be like, I was like, yeah, we're going to be good. Phil Plantier, but they ended up being horrible that year. But yeah, no, that was an annual tradition for me. I love opening day.
Absolutely. That's a cool story, man.
Hey, Melissa, do you have any opening day traditions, or, do you remember any times of skipping school and watching some Red Sox games?
No, I didn't even start watching them till I was like 17. So no, I didn't. But I have during church at a funeral, watched the game during a funeral, during church, on the stage, because I sing, watch the game on my phone. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's pretty bad.
DC and I have DC and I have a little vacation for opening day this year, so can't wait for that.
I'd love to go. I'm not going till July to to Boston, but
I don't know. DC and I are planning to do a day trip. We live in Pennsylvania, so we're gonna drive. We're gonna drive up, watch a game, and drive back. So
that's great.
Little craziness there,
Yeah.
but next up, this is the one that I loved. Red Sox lineup versus the Yankees. As soon as I seen the lineup come out, all I see is comments. AC must really want us to lose this one because Reese McGuire I think he was the only MLB player on there. Everybody else was in double in triple A.
I want to say happy birthday, Aaron Boone. Happy birthday. Because today's his birthday. What a great birthday present.
Yeah, and then you looked at the Yankees lineup and they had most of their starters in there. So I was like, man, okay, well, I guess this is where it ends. But then again, here we go. I was starting to doubt AC, and I'm at work, 2-0. I'm like, okay, this is looking good. Then it's 2-2. I'm like, oh crap. Then all of a sudden, there's a new guy at work in the back, and I have a tattoo of the Red Sox logo and the World Series championships going down my leg. He's seen that a couple weeks ago, and he's like, I'm a Yankees fan. I'm like, well, I'm sorry to hear that. So all of a sudden, I tell him, I'm like, 2-0, 2-2. Then all of a sudden, the score starts racking up. 7-3, 8-3, 11-3. And I'm just walking by him within like 10, 15 minutes, saying different scores. And all of a sudden, he's like, I said 11-3. He goes, okay, you're just making up numbers now. So I had to show him. And then all of a sudden, we won 11-7. And I was just like, man, I said, man, I'm like, okay, we can't doubt our triple A and our double A, guys either, because we have some aces in there. Hamilton is amazing. I love him. Was it Rafaela? He was in there playing today. So
Valdez was leading off.
Yeah, Valdez was leading off. So
I'm a big fan of that guy, man.
Yeah, they had Valdez and Rafaela 1-2.
Yeah.
Two of their two top prospects, but they're also like closest. You know what I mean? They're like both of them could be playing for the Red Sox by this summer, or who knows, even depending on injuries, you never know, because right now Rafaela is probably our best defensive center fielder, maybe even our best defensive shortstop as well, so he's knocking at the door. We just got to find out if he can hit and if he can, you know what I mean, like just handle the bat at the major league level. So but yeah, no, it was exciting.
Yeah, that's one thing that Rafaela needs to do. He needs to be a little patient at the plate. Don't get all anxious, because once he gets that down, along with his stellar defense, man, he's gonna look great in our lineup, look in our everyday lineup out there. But Red Sox lineup and the Yankees, DC, what were your thoughts when you first seen the lineup? What were your thoughts at the end of the game? And do you have anything to say to Aaron Boone on his birthday?
It's going to be not suitable for work. So, but no, I thought it was pretty funny. I think a little bit might have been in some gamemanship by Alex Cora, especially going against the Yankees. But it's sweet to see 6 home runs with a AAA and AA roster against a pretty full squad of theirs. And at the end of the game, I was pretty stoked. I think I knew who you're talking about at work, so that kind of makes me happy. But yeah, I'm so stoked for those two that we were just talking about, especially Valdez. I think it sucked losing Vasquez last year, but what he's done in the minor leagues is pretty impressive. So I'm excited to see how that translates to the MLB.
Yeah, definitely. And it wasn't just Valdez. We also got what was it, Abreu in that trade also.
Yeah.
And he just went down, with, of course,
the hammy,
the hammy, the third one this season. But
and go screw yourself, Aaron Boone. I forgot that part. I hate that guy so much.
Yes. When I found out it was his birthday, I was like, and when we went, I was like, oh, because when I first signed on MLB, I was out, and so it was on the Yankees like stream or whatever, and I was like, oh man, I hate watching it on here, but I was driving, so I didn't change it, and they were talking about how it was his birthday, and we were just hitting bombs. I was like, okay.
Well, it's funny because I was watching on Nesson, and they were showing.
Oh, did they talk about it too?
No, but they were showing the Yankees broadcast on Nesson.
Oh, were they? Okay,
yeah.
Okay. Then maybe that was all that was available today.
Right. So, because it was in Tampa, I think maybe it's wherever the home team is.
I'm
not sure.
That's true. Yeah.
But I missed like the second part of the game. I was just busy, and so I missed the end. I saw the beginning of the game, but no, I mean, I thought the Yankees broadcast was almost refreshing. They didn't talk much. Like they weren't, there would be a time when like literally like they didn't talk at all. He was just like, strike 2, and then no talking. Strike 3, and that was it. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was just like, it's kind of nice sometimes to just watch a baseball game and not have somebody constantly talking, especially if that person is like annoying or something. You know what I mean? Like there's some announcers that just
people we can't stand.
Yeah, so I mean, I thought it was a decent broadcast, but no, I mean, it was a good game, and it's a great chance for some of these young guys to get that opportunity, right? I think the kid Philip Sykes hit a home run. That's a kid who I had my eye on last year. He's a ball player. They got some ball players in this organization. A lot of people want to dump on Heimblum and say he hasn't brought in any talent, but I think what this spring training is really showing everybody is actually we do have a little bit more organizational depth and talent than a lot of people gave him credit for.
Exactly. I like to say hindsight is 2020. Like that's I'm hoping that catches. I'm hoping that becomes reality. Not real. It's like a hope. It's like a prayer I have. Like, please.
There's your next T-shirt.
Him, but I don't
exactly right there.
But I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to make a T-shirt and it'll be true.
No, yeah.
See.
That's a good point.
But
pretty superstitious.
But sometimes
superstitious.
But sometimes you got to sit there and make it happen for it to happen.
That's true.
So
I don't
how
want
about
people
this?
blaming me. I'm
Speak it into existence.
And then everybody's like, "Oh, you did this. You cursed the team." Like Jared last year with the whenever everybody blamed him or Steve, like whenever about the, are the Red Sox going to do it or whatever, and then we started sucking. I don't want anybody to blame me.
Oh man, I sit there and I message Steve and talk to him every now and then, and I'm like, I kind of bring it up as a joke. But I'm like, just to let you guys know, we haven't won in a playoff game since Section 10 split up.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like, we'd be going back and forth talking for a little bit. And then I bring that up, and then he stops. I'm like, oh, okay.
Don't be mean to Steve.
So,
no.
I'm like,
I sit there and
Steve and Joey, they're my favorites.
I sit there. I love Steve. I love Jared. Section 10 was the reason and the main reason why I wanted to start a Red Sox podcast. So without them, I wouldn't even want to be doing a Red Sox podcast at all. So, but man, some great news for the Red Sox this year, though. Man, the Yankees pitching staff keeps getting thinner and thinner with the starting rotation. Rodon just is going to be put on starting the season on the IL. Frankie also Montas starting the season on the IL.
Well, he's out for the year.
Out for the year.
Basically, yeah.
Tommy, was it Conn?
Tommy Conley, is a guy they picked up in the bullpen. Yep. He's not going to start the year. The lefty, what's his name? The little lefty with the mustache. The little chubby lefty they have there. Cortez. He's got an oblique. He's missing the WBC, so he's probably not going to start the season. And then Bader's always banged up. They have a couple other pitchers. Yeah, there's a couple other pitchers in the bullpen as well. So they're to me, I tweeted about this today. They don't like to me. I've said this all year. The Yankees aren't some scary team to me. I don't see what everybody's worried about with the Yankees, why they're penciling them in as if Judge is going to have that kind of season again. No, definitely not.
No. And especially when we have Garrett Cole's dad playing for our team with Rafael Devers. So
Big scoops for Raffy.
Dude, his career, dude, Garrett Cole doesn't even matter. I mean, Devers obviously owns him, but our whole team, I mean, we handle Garrett Cole. Like, so he does not.
It's like a 5 ERA against him, I think.
Oh, yeah. In playoffs as well. I mean, like, obviously, we smashed him in the wild card game. So, I mean, like, and even when he was in Houston, he wasn't, so it's like the Sox over the years have handled him. We can hit fastballs. That's the thing. We can hit fastballs here.
Yeah, definitely. So, well, we're going to have a little, we're going to bring it back. Fair or foul? So I'm going to sit there and make a statement. We're going to go around and everybody is going to say if it's fair or if it's foul, because the pesky poll, they can't lie. So we're going to sit there and start the first one. Corey Kluber has 25 starts this season. We're going to start with you, DC.
I'm going to be optimistic and say fair. He had 31 last year. A couple years before that, he was banged up. I know he's getting up there in age, but I think he could hit 25 pretty easily. Obviously, it all comes down to health, but I'm going to say fair.
Okay, Anthony?
Yeah, absolutely fair. I think he's a solid guy. I saw he's in great shape. Yep. I mean, fair. I'd be pretty surprised if he doesn't hit that.
Okay, and Melissa?
Definitely fair. Definitely.
Okay. Fair's around the board. We were talking, Anthony, about Kluber, how, he just doesn't throw the ball. He pitches the ball.
Yeah.
And his start he looked great. He was going east to west very well. Everyone's wondering, he's not pitching the 90s, but he's not that type of pitcher. Mm-hmm. He pitches the ball, puts it in spots where it needs to go, and he doesn't need that speed. So I am also going to go fair, and I see him going maybe closer to 30 starts this year.
Right.
So next up on fair or foul, Red Sox have 50 wins by the All-Star break. So Anthony, we're going to start with you.
So I'd have to know how many games they're playing, but you figure it's late in the season. You know what? 50 games. I'm going to say foul on that. I don't know exactly how many games they're going to play at that point, but it's usually early July, so it's a little bit more than half a season, so maybe 85 games, so they'd be 50 and 35. I think I'm going to go foul. I don't think they're going to necessarily be running away with the division or anything this year. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a dogfight, but I think they'll be in it.
Okay. Melissa, what about you?
I agree. Like I had them maybe winning 79, if that was my optimistic for the season. I don't know. So I mean, I would love to hope that, but I would say foul.
Okay, DC.
I'm gonna go foul as well. I could see him winning about 45. I think we can limp into the playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of shock the world and actually put a great season together and win the division. Mm-hmm. But that's obviously, like you said, it's going to be a dogfight. I'd say probably about 45 would be more realistic, but I'm going to go foul on that one. But I would say, Melissa, if you're going 79, that's a good number because Vegas has them at 78.5. So I'd put that bet in.
Okay.
Yeah. That was good. I was just actually looking at that before I got on.
Oh, really? I just pulled it out. I was like,
that was good.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm going to say it's going to be close to 50, but it's not going to be 50 because we sit there and we have a really good opening couple series. We have Baltimore, we got Pittsburgh, we got Detroit, we got Minnesota.
Don't sleep on Baltimore though.
We got Milwaukee. Oh no, I can't go to a Red Sox Baltimore game anymore and actually think that we're just going to walk away with it. So, but we have a really good, couple. Arizona, we're playing Cincinnati. So I'm going to say close to 50, but I'm going to have to say foul also. I see closer to maybe 47 games. So we just got to have a couple series go our way and a hot start and the health. Mm-hmm. So here we go. We're going to go Heim Bloom gets extension after this season? DC, we'll start with you.
I'm going to say fair. Kind of touch on what Anthony was saying before. I think a lot of people kind of jumped on him a little too early. I mean, he was kind of against it. I think his first move was trading Mookie Betts. So anytime you come in as a, in the position that he was in and make a move like that, that's a fan favorite. Obviously, we know how messy that situation was. I think we exceed expectations because they're not too high this year. And I think that that gets him an extension. I think he deserves it. Obviously, like Anthony said too, you see the players that he's brought in, performing in spring training. And he brought in Whitlock, I believe, too, in the Rule 5.
Yes.
I mean, that's a great move. And he's one of our pivotal players, in my opinion. So I think we'd be doing, the organization injustice if we don't give him an extension, to be honest with you, in my opinion.
So, okay. Melissa, what about you?
I think in the off season, I would have said foul because I just was baffled by a lot of things that have happened. But now it's spring training and just the vibe and the chemistry with the team and watching like what we've been watching. I'm going to say fair.
Okay. Very good point. Anthony, what about you?
So do we know what his contract situation is? Is he expiring or did he sign? Do we know what he signed? Because it's a good question. I mean, I think if his contract's up, I mean, listen, I'm gonna go. This one's gonna hit off the pole. This one's gonna hit right down the line off the pesky pole, and I'm gonna say fair. It's gonna come back in and be fair because I think this team is going to be good this year, and I've been cautiously optimistic, but I think they're going to be in the playoff mix. Personally, I see them in the mid 80s right now, but I think there's a lot that can happen. I mean, we still don't know what's going on with Trevor Story. You know what I mean? Like what that's going to be. We have a lot of young players. We have, new guys. It's just, there's so many moving parts right now, but I'm telling you right now, if we have a healthy Chris Sale, I guess that would probably be a big, make it or break it thing. It's like, if you tell me we have a healthy Chris Sale for like 30 starts, I mean, it's definitely fair because I think the Red Sox are going to be a pretty good team. So, I mean, that's a really close one, but I'm going to say fair because I like the direction we're going.
To answer your question, Bloom was hired over the 2019-2020 offseason, and he had a 4-year contract. So he's on he has one more year after this one.
Well, no, this will be it because 2020, 22. So this would be his 4th year. So,
yes.
So it's a good question. And I think, I think it's dependent on what happens this year.
Yeah.
And it's just the reason I say fair is because I actually think they're going to be a little bit better than everybody else does, or not necessarily you guys or whatever. But the general consensus is, you said what the Vegas over under was. Most people think the Red Sox still kind of suck, and we're not going to, we're going to be last in the division at best, maybe 4th, and they're going to be in the 70s in wins. And I just don't feel like that. But we're going to have to see. And if they do make the playoffs, then yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm going to sit there and say fair, but I'm always saying it because you can't sit there and let Heim put all his pieces started to put him in place. He's got the minor leaguers fantastic coming up. He went and had his hands on a lot of those pieces. We just got Devers signed for that mega contract to build a whole young team around. So you've got to at least give him 2 more years after this one to see that his vision is and can be manageable. I think it can be. Within 2 years, we got Marcelo Mayer probably going to be coming up. Rafael coming up. Hamilton could be coming up. We got a plethora of young arms starting pitchers that'll be able to come up. You can't sit there and let Heim put all this together and then not give him the chance to see it all the way through.
Unless you were to bring in a Dave Dombrowski type who can take all of that and go trade it all. You see what I'm saying? Basically pull a
It would.
Dombrowski.
Mm-hmm.
But that would put us back in the same position we are, like, all over again. That's back on the roller coaster ride. Let's see this thing through. Let's get this system. I'm telling you right now, by summer, I think this system is going to be a legit top 10 system. I really do. It's just that little, all these guys like that are in low A ball, they don't rank as high because they're just out of high school, really. So once these guys start playing and showing something and ranking up in the organization, you're going to see our farm system gets thought of a lot higher than it is now. Like that ridiculous thing Keith Law had putting us like 23rd or 24th. It's a joke. It's not even close. They're right on the cusp of being a top 10 farm system right now, and they're moving up in the right direction. And you're right. Marcelo Meyer is going to be at AA probably by June.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's a stud, dude. I'm so excited for him.
And then if you go and look what Heim did down in Tampa. That farm system they had down there, he put most of it together, and they were great because of the farm system that they had. So I'm for hindsight will be 2020.
Yeah, hindsight is 2020.
So yeah, you got to let them sit there and follow through and let them see the end of this. So now here the next fair or foul is an intriguing one. Ryan Brazier deserves to be in the bullpen and on this Boston Red Sox team. So Anthony, we're gonna let you start this one off.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll say the same thing I always say about Ryan Brazier. You know, the guy's got balls. We saw what he could do in 2018. On the way to a championship. He did the same thing kind of in 2021. He was lights out. I think they threw him out there 5 days in a row at one point. He's got a rubber arm. There's not many guys who you can do that with, that you can just say, come and give me whatever you got. And he's going to go give you whatever he's got. Whatever he's got, he's going to give you. He's going to be consistent. He throws strikes. He's got a great fastball. He's got a great slide piece, and nothing bothers him. And I think what happened was last year he was overused. He's been overused. He led the team in appearances last year. That's wrong. Ryan Brazier should not lead the team in appearances. What you need to not burn these guys out. Okay, so he's going to be more of like a fifth, sixth inning type guy, middle relief guy. Come in and maybe get out of a jam in the fifth inning, fourth inning, even something like that, and be in a much lower leverage role. And I just think when you look at compared to like a Matt Barnes or a Caleb Ward or some of these other options, Ryan Brazier is a lot better option.
Yeah. When you and I were talking and, you made up all those points and I started thinking, I was like, man, okay. You rest your case, Your Honor. And now I sit there and I believe he should be on there.
Well, real quick too, just outside of last season, does anybody really have a big problem with what it's really just last season. He's sort of one of those guys that because we had a terrible season, people want to point the blame at a few guys like Bobby Dahlbeck and Ryan Brazier and blame these guys, even though these guys are making minimum salary or $1-2 million. Nobody wants to blame the guys who are making $20+ million and weren't producing. And first and foremost, Chris Sale, he was a no-show, flying off his bicycle like friggin' Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Okay, so it's just seriously.
That is so great.
Bicycle.
Yeah, and if you think about it, like people sit there were really upset when we got rid of Matt Barnes because Matt Barnes has been here for so long, So they're like, well, why is Brazier still here? You got rid of Barnes, but why is Brazier still here? And Anthony, you make great points, and now I am looking for a Ryan Brazier jersey to wear this year. I am buying one.
I don't know how you switched him, dude, because he hated him. Like he couldn't stand him.
I couldn't either, and I'm kind of on the fence now. So you definitely should be a lawyer, like you said earlier. You should definitely, because I was seriously like, I was waiting for this one. I was like, it'd be foul, and no, like now I'm like, good point.
Okay, well,
Well, I
Yeah, I'm
mean,
gonna
you
go
can
fair
still,
on that one.
you can still say foul and argue
I
against it.
still
mean,
say
it's not,
foul. I'm just gonna wait. I'm not gonna go buy a jersey. I'm just saying I'm not gonna buy a Brazier jersey. Not yet. We'll
the other
see about
thing
that.
is the guy makes $2 million. If he completely sucks in April and May, get rid of him. Replace him. He's easily replaceable, just like I think Matt Barnes and some of these other guys are. These guys, we have our key guys at the end of the game with Jansen and Martin. I don't know if you guys have seen Martin. I mean, this guy looks really good. He's a big kid. He throws hard. He throws strikes. He's going to be a good addition. So I think the back end of our bullpen is strong. So what we're really looking for is just those guys in the middle. And I think Brazier can be one of those guys, a little bit less pressure on him, not used, overused. So if he doesn't get the job done, we move on. It's not that big of a deal, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you go bring up Chris Martin. DC is high on Chris Martin. It's the favorite move this whole offseason. So DC, I'll let you sit there and hype up Chris Martin, and afterwards you can say fair or foul.
Yeah, I think I mean, their bullpen has been trash for, the last couple of seasons. I was pretty stoked to see us to go get a vet. I know he's a little up there in age, but he pounds the strike zone. He has a good fastball. As far as Brazier, I'm going fair. I've been a big fan of him. Like Anthony said last year, it's kind of easy to kind of point the finger, but it's unfair. And I've loved him since I think it was 2018, maybe 2019, when he was facing Gary Sanchez and he told me to get back in the fucking box. And I was like, yo, that's
That's
the
Exactly.
dude right there, man.
Right.
And
That's
then he
another
struck him
great
out.
point.
That's very
And then he
Boston.
struck him out. So like, he can pitch in the Bronx. He can pitch in Fenway. And like Anthony said, not to keep piggybacking off you, but he made great points. He was thrown out there a lot of days in a row. And our bullpen wasn't good at all. So he was called on in different situations. So I'm going to go fair on that for sure.
Give him a chance,
So
$2 million,
Melissa,
like that's
Exactly.
it's all on you, Melissa. Do you want to Do you want to stand up against Anthony?
No, I don't. I don't really want to stand up against him. I'm going to say fair. Like, he makes really good points. I actually listened to y'all's bonus podcast, whatever, and I was like, "Who is that guy?" Like, because I never heard the name. I was like, "Who is that guy?" Because every person he's picking for his team, I'm like, "That would be my pick." Like, who is this? And
They fell into my lap. I was like, yeah, I'll take Mookie Betts now. We should. It would be fun to do it again with an extra few people just to make it more challenging. You know what I mean? Because we all had like loaded rosters.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll be on the next one. I apologize.
That was a fun
that one.
episode. That was a fun episode.
Well,
It's always fun to do that stuff.
Well, hey, Melissa, you can sit there and come on. We'll get Anthony back on, the defending champ. I'll just host it. DC will be on. Greg Teed said that he would sit there and love to be on. So I'm sure I can get one more, and we can sit there and do a whole nother bonus episode and see how deep we can dive into these lineups for the fantasy. I was so upset because Anthony and I were talking afterwards, and heck, we could have had a whole nother podcast with us just talking afterwards. But I'm like, man,
You're starving our listeners, man.
Yeah, I'm like,
I want to know his voice. I was like, his voice is so like nice to listen to. Who is that person? Like,
oh,
Thank you.
So when I saw you on this, and I heard you start talking, I was like, oh my god, that's the guy from the podcast.
yeah. Hey, as soon as Anthony and I were talking, I was like, dude, you got a voice for radio.
Definitely.
And then I told DC, I'm like, dude, we got to snatch this guy up.
He goes, did I sound okay? And you're like, you sound fine. And I was like, no, he sounds good. I was like, that's what he asked.
No, he was talking about you, and I was like, yo, send the text right now. And I was like, dude, give me a couple minutes. I'm like, did you send it? Like, what are we doing?
So
No,
yeah,
thank you guys for making me blush over here.
No,
I'm so dark. I gotta fix my lighting situation. I apologize. It's not as dark in here as it looks, but maybe I just don't have the right situation.
I'm on my wife's laptop, bro, so don't feel bad.
Well, I got a webcam, but I just like the light in the room. It's a little bit dim, I guess, but I don't know. I got to get a ring.
It was really.
I actually have to wait for one.
I need some lighting, like in my like space, in my immediate like face here.
Yeah, but what was really funny, it was like, because DC, he's like my team lead at work, so he's my boss. So like he's like, did you message him? I'm like, no. He's like, come on, message him. you got to. He's like, someone else is going to get him. And I'm like, well, I really hope our managers don't listen to this.
Me, bro.
But I was like, well, if my team lead's telling me to make the text, I got to make the text. So, I'm like, okay. So.
I appreciate it. I'm happy to be here. I appreciate it.
So the last fair or foul. AL Rookie of the Year will come from the Boston Red Sox. Okay, Melissa, we're gonna start off with you.
I think fair. It could happen. I really want to see what Bayo does this year. I love Bayo so much. Like that's what I'm. But I've hoped that everything's okay. I know like he left with like some tightness, but now he's not going to be there for opening day. But I don't know. I'll say fair. I'll just be optimistic. I mean, there's many more. It's just Bayo's my favorite right now.
And he was working with Pedro in the offseason.
So. One little caveat: he's actually not even eligible. So Bayo,
really?
Yeah, Bayo last year exceeded the innings limits, so he's actually technically not a rookie.
So he's not even a rookie anymore.
But our candidates are basically Tristan Casas and actually Yoshida.
I was going to say Casas next.
And actually Yoshida.
Casas. See, I would go Casas. I would go Casas before.
He's actually considered a rookie, though, the kid from Japan, the rookie.
Oh, really?
Yoshida.
Okay.
Just because he's never played in the majors. I don't agree with that, how he's a rookie and he's 29, but technically he's a rookie. Ichiro won Rookie of the Year. Yeah. So it's really Casas and Yoshida.
Yeah. So, okay, Anthony, fair or foul?
Oh, it's definitely fair. I mean, dude, I love Tristan Casas. I think Yoshida's a good ball player as well. So Rookie of the Year can go to anybody. I mean, if you have a solid year, it's not like you're not usually going to see like Patrick Mahomes or not. Well, he wasn't a rookie that year, but I mean, just across sports there. But like, that guy come out and just have like a monster season. That generally doesn't happen from a rookie. So it's really usually comes down to a guy that just has a good solid year. And I mean, Casas and Yoshida definitely candidates for that.
Yeah, definitely. DC, what about you, man?
I'm going to go fair. Yeah, Casas, Yoshida. I'm really stoked for Yoshida. The only thing that I would say is there is one player actually in the AL East that scares the hell out of me. Is Gunnar Henderson. I think he can, kind of, threaten them for that. Yeah. I think he's going to be excited. He hits for power. He has speed. He could go 20, 25, But I'm going to go fair. I think we have a lot of exciting guys coming up. I'm excited to see what Casas does with the full season. Obviously, I've been telling you, at work and everything else off the air, how excited I am for Yoshida. So I think there's a very, very good chance that, we have somebody emerge as the Rookie of the Year from our squad.
Okay. And I am also going to go fair because like I told you, DC, before, I told Anthony, Yoshida is my man. He is going to get 40 doubles minimum. He's going to put holes and dents in the Green Monster. That's why I told you to take him in the keeper league, pick him up, and that's why I'm saying Yoshida will be the AL Rookie of the Year.
Okay, so you're leaning Yoshida in particular.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I mean it's fair. I mean because he and guess what? Let me tell you something. He's one of the only rookies who's going to be making like $20 million. So. We kind of need him to be the Rookie of the Year. You know what I mean? We're kind of relying on him for that.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
All these other rookies are making $700K.
Yep. So another great episode of Fair or Foul. A lot of great points. So let's go around the horn for some final thoughts. We'll start with you, Melissa. First off, before we get to a final thought, tell us a little bit about Sox Addict, the website, how it came about, and, where can we get some free merch? I mean, where do we pay for some great fine merchandise?
Okay, so actually, I'm not sure exactly when Red started making the Sox Addict shirts because I didn't get one until 2007, but I think he made them before that. At Surviving Grady, Red, he had a blog, he had a book, actually. He was writing a blog in the 2004 season and called Surviving Grady. And so anyway, I met him on MySpace in 2007.
Wow.
Yeah. Way back then.
Hey, kids, if you don't know what MySpace is, it's kind of like Facebook. And if you don't know what Facebook is, just keep going.
Yeah, but you know what was
It was a
cool
way
about
to piss off your
MySpace?
friends.
Sock space.
But,
Like, that's what.
but dude, MySpace, what I really liked about it is you could have like music on
Yes,
your
your
page.
music.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
you have
like
your
if
own
somebody
music.
came to your page, like they were
And you
listening to
customize
tunes.
it. Like it was
Yeah.
really cool. I miss
Oh,
You
man,
could
that.
be
MySpace.
petty and move your friends
I
down
miss
off your
MySpace.
list. It was awesome.
Yes, you could have like your number one.
Oh
top
yeah, you had
friend.
your little. Oh, that's right.
Yes,
Yeah, I forgot about
yes,
that.
it was
You
You
always
don't
had
play with somebody,
Tom.
you just
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So I saw his shirt, like just scroll. I don't even remember if there was like a feed of your friends. I don't remember how that works, but I know I saw the Socks Addict shirt, and so I commented on it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. It was a Socks Addict shirt. And he was like, if I send you one, will you wear it and send me pictures? I was like, yes. That was it. Like I was his pretty much a spokesperson. He used to click on me to order the shirt. So for years I just modeled the shirts, whatever, or took pictures, sent them to him, whatever. And then we became business partners last year. So now I get, we work together, not just that. I actually tried to find like a younger girl to be like the face and try like put that out there, and people weren't really for it. Yeah, I guess just because people know me, they're used to me. Yeah, he started, we started making shirts together, sending ideas, taking ideas other people have given, and so it's socksaddicts.com. And we used to just have the Socks Addict shirt. Trying to think what our first shirt was. But no, he had this shirt. Hold on. I made it into a plaque. We had this
Oh, that's
Euclid.
sick.
Oh, you.
This Euclid. Hold on. I don't know if you can. Hold on. Which way? Going the wrong way.
There you go.
This was one from 2008. I think he made it. After 2007. And then we had the Who Died and Made You Josh Beckett. He had a Who Died Made You Mark Bellhorn. What other ones did he have? The Mighty Ortiz one was from, that was some of the first ones he made. But then now that we have this website, we have all kinds. He's done the Devas Forever, and then I don't have an accent like that. So sorry. I can't do the Boston. I'd be like Devers Forever, But yeah, so and then we did like the Incredible Hulk. We did do, and the fun fact is before we found out what was going to happen with Xander, we made the X Forever shirt, and I sent Joey and Steve one, but they didn't get it till like after like everything had happened. And so I was like, I'm so sorry if I caused y'all PTSD opening that package up after all that. But I still wear mine. But yeah, so socksaddicts.com, and
I'm gonna visit right after this.
Yeah, and be sure to follow. I'm sure everybody follows him more than me, but at Surviving Grady Red, he's pretty awesome. So that's pretty much it. It's I do want to make some custom stuff. Like I've made like things where I put like rhinestones on it for girls, like hats and stuff. And so eventually I want to add that to what we do sell, because I just did it to mine, not thinking anything of it. And then somebody was like, hey, would you do that for me? And I was like, sure. And I'll take, okay, I'm superstitious. The shirt like gets old, like that I've had for years. I don't throw it away, or a hat. I take the emblem off, or like the logo, and I put it on something else. Like I bought this hoodie years ago, 2008, when I was at Fenway Park, bought it, and it had rhinestones on it. And that B in the socks has been on like 5 different things, because I'll take it off and put it, because the article of clothing will become worn out, but that's fine. So I just put it on other things. That's so awesome. I'll probably end up doing stuff like that and selling custom stuff like that too eventually, but in my spare time.
Nice. So do you have any final thoughts about the episode?
It was actually really fun. It was great to talk with y'all, and it was an honor to be here, and nice to talk with Anthony. I was so wondering, I was like, who is that? I was going to ask y'all in the podcast, if he wasn't on here, who was that person that was on that bonus episode? So I really appreciate y'all having me here. It's been great.
No, thanks. As soon as I started the podcast Twitter, like, you're probably one of the first few that like were in my suggestions. So,
Oh, really?
And
Awesome.
then I started seeing like the merchandise, and I'm like, man, this is some great stuff. And then once we started doing the podcast, not to put DC out there, because DC's never did podcasts before this, so he's like, I need a couple under my belt to feel comfortable having guests on.
Yeah,
So
I get that.
and you were actually our first guest. We don't count bonus episodes. And we would love to have you back,
yeah,
future
love to.
time. So
Definitely.
but Anthony, any final thoughts for you?
No, I mean, just it was a lot of fun. It was good to talk to Melissa. So it's always great. That's why I like the spaces, because you get to kind of like the people you interact with, or people you see on Twitter, you get to kind of like talk to and kind of get to know a little bit. So it's a lot of fun. I had a good time. I really like the fair foul concept. You know what I mean?
That's
Pesky
fun. That's
poll.
fun.
You know what I mean? That's a good. We could definitely do a lot of interesting things with that. And I'm just impressed with the Red Sox. I don't care about stats and winning. I just care about the fact that the culture, I feel like there's a little bit of a culture shift where it's going to be contagious. The team seems a little more serious this year. So they just weren't ready to go last year. Last year was a clown show. We deserve better than that as fans.
Definitely.
We're going to invest our time. We're going to invest 162 games, 3 plus hours. Give me a better product than I had to witness last year. That was a joke. And I think we're going to get it for sure.
Yeah, and Kike said in the offseason that he thought a lot of the team quit on him.
Yeah.
And
I really agree. A lot of people didn't agree with him, but I was kind of like, oh, I feel like he's kind of right. I mean, not everybody, but I feel like there were some people that just did.
Yeah. So DC, any final thoughts on you?
Yeah, it was a great time tonight. I appreciate Melissa coming on. It was great talking to you. Great meeting you. Hope you come on many more times. You're welcome whenever you want to come. Anthony, great meeting you, man. I'm excited to have you aboard and what you can bring to the table, because obviously you're very knowledgeable. So I'm excited to see what we can do and see this podcast grow. And I'm very optimistic for this team, man. Like I said, I know we have really low expectations from people from the outside, but very 2013-esque. Like I said before, I think, and even episode 1, you got to go out there, play, have fun. They are serious. It looks like they're taking everything very serious, but they're also having fun. They're smiling. They just look like they're playing together, and we haven't seen that, since probably 2 years ago. So
yeah,
very optimistic, excited to see what's going to happen for not only our show but for the Red Sox.
Yeah, me personally, I can't wait for the season to start. Hopefully, we can sit there and start the podcast first year we win a World Series, because then we can say, hey, it was us.
Then I'll be.
Hey, that happened with Red Surviving Grady. That's what happened. He started writing that blog, and then they won. Just saying.
Yeah. So, but overall, I'm really thankful for Melissa, you coming on, giving us some of your time. Anthony, once again, thank you for joining us. That voice is going.
That's great. It is.
is going to get people intrigued. Melissa was very intrigued just by listening to that podcast.
I literally was telling my family, I was like, I'm going to ask whose voice that is. Yep.
So
thank you. But I think I missed my calling.
Yeah,
I'm not going to add to that. I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable, big guy.
Well, guys, thanks for stopping by. Head on over to our YouTube channel where we put up all the live shows. Subscribe. Hit us up. Any questions? Next episode, we're going to sit there and do some DMs. So if you want questions answered, just ask us. We love to answer your guys' questions. So
we also have, not to cut you off, but we have my buddy who's a big Orioles fan. So if you send any questions, if you want to base it around Orioles, Red Sox, or even just Orioles, very knowledgeable guy. You guys will love him. He's just good dude overall, and he has a lot of sports knowledge, especially about the Orioles.
I want to know who's starting opening day for them. I thought it was going to be that John Means, the lefty, but somebody else said that he's coming back from Tommy John. He won't be ready. So I want to know who's starting the season for them.
Yeah,
who's their number one
talk
starter?
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good question.
So, hey, that'd be the first question we hit him off with. So, but I'm the Ritt. He's DC. We got a new brother on the show, Anthony on the Cape, and we got the very lovely Melissa Sox Addict. So, guys, sit there and check us out next time. And always, thanks for listening to the Pesky Podcast.